Breaking news here on NFL Daily. It is official. After weeks of speculation, Aaron Rodgers is finally a New York Jet. The Packers and the Jets finalizing that trade at this hour. Taking a look at the trade compensation. So the Packers get the number 13 overall selection this year. It's basically a first-round pick swap this year, as you can see on your screen, because the Jets are moving back 2 spots. They'll take the Packers pick at number 15. Packers also get a second-round pick this year. That's number 42 overall. They get a 6th-round pick this year, number 207 overall, and a conditional second-round pick next year that will turn into a first-round pick if Aaron Rodgers plays at least 65% of snaps this year for New York. The Jets get their new star quarterback. They have been waiting years for this moment. They have wanted a star quarterback, and they finally got one in New York. Again, they move back 2 spots in the first round this year and also get a 5th-round pick at number 170 overall this year. Who won the trade? Type NYJ for the Jets or type GB for the Packers. Down in the comment section, who won this trade? It is the pinned comment. So go and reply when you get a second. You can certainly make the argument that this is a win-win deal. I think the Packers wanted to move on. I think Aaron Rodgers wanted to go to a new team. I thought that was somewhat mutual throughout this entire process. And you heard Aaron Rodgers go on Pat McAfee about a month ago and say, I want to be a Jet. That's the only team I really want to play for. But the Packers still had all the power. Aaron Rodgers under contract several more years, so they wanted to get the right compensation. And after weeks of no talks, apparently, with the Jets, they finally kind of re-entered those trade conversations yesterday and were able to get a deal done before the draft. And I think that was the goal for both sides. Packers move up 2 spots. They add a 2nd-round pick this year. They add a 6th-round pick next year. And in all likelihood, are going to get a 1st-round pick next year from the Jets. Again, Rodgers, if he plays more than 65% of snaps this year, that 2nd-round pick is going to turn into a 1st. And the Jets, all of a sudden, have an explosive offense that's really good. The one thing missing was quarterback. They got one now in Aaron Rodgers, who is going to wear number 8 for the Jets. Breece Hall was obviously having a fantastic rookie season before the injury. Garrett Wilson, the offensive rookie of the year. Alan Lazard, you sign him. And then McCall Hardman, you sign him. So this Jets offense, all of a sudden, really, really good. And the Jets as a football team just became really good. This was an okay football team. Now it is a good football team that wants to contend in a tough AFC East and will contend in that division. Tom Pelissero tweeting this. It'll be a day or two before the Aaron Rodgers trade is submitted to the league office. He'll sign a revised contract with the Packers to facilitate the trade and help Green Bay's cap. But everything has been agreed to and will be official before the draft. He's going to be a Jet. And then Adam Schefter, as I mentioned earlier, saying, although Hall of Fame QB Joe Namath gave Aaron Rodgers his blessing to wear number 12, the new Jets quarterback is expected to wear number 8, the number he wore in college at Cal. So Aaron Rodgers going to be number 8 in New York. What is your one-word reaction to this news? Go down in the comments section. Let me know. I see a couple people in our live chat saying, finally. A couple people are saying yawn. A couple people are saying irrelevant. A couple people are saying great. It's going to be a mixed reaction to this trade. I think a lot of people are going to say, the Jets, they're still the Jets. They're not going to do anything. Others are going to say the Jets are Super Bowl contenders. I'm kind of in the middle. This is a tough division, as I said. But the Jets just became a playoff team today. Now, did they become a Super Bowl contender? I'm not sure. But a fresh start, I think, is going to bode well for Aaron Rodgers. And all the talent that he has around him in this Jets offense, far superior, quite frankly, to the talent that he had last year in Green Bay. He has a better offense around him, a better team around him, better defense as well. Jets have a top 5 defense in the league, probably a top 10 offense after this trade. The Jets, as I said, just became really, really good. Now, did they become a Super Bowl contender? We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a fun season, though, in the AFC East. Let's get into some draft rumors now because Todd McShay has a lot of draft buzz that he discussed on ESPN.com. Kind of went team by team. We're going to break down some of those takeaways here in a second. But first, let me tell you about our live coverage of the draft. That begins on Thursday. We'll have a pregame at 6 p.m. Eastern time, so be sure to join us for that. Best coverage on YouTube. Best coverage really just in general. No commercial breaks, all 7 rounds. That's the sublink right there, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Subscribe and turn on your notifications to get a reminder when we go live. We'll look forward to seeing you starting on Thursday night. Going to be an entertaining draft, especially that first round. Who knows what's going to happen at number 2? We all know what's going to happen at number 1, and that's what Todd McShay is saying, that Bryce Young, the Alabama quarterback, is a lock to be the number 1 overall selection. Not a surprise. This draft starts at number 2, and the Texans need a quarterback. However, Todd McShay is saying that Houston is likely not taking a quarterback at number 2. I really don't understand that at all. Todd McShay is also kind of confused about that. Here's what he said. I've spoken to a lot of people around the NFL about the Texans and keep hearing Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud will not be the pick. Nothing would totally shock me at this point, but it really sounds like the Texans will pass on the quarterback. So not just Stroud, but on all the quarterbacks at number 2, which goes against everything we've thought for months. What on earth are the Texans doing? You have the number 3 overall pick last year. You passed on a quarterback. You have another first-round pick last year. You passed on a quarterback. And you're going to pass on a quarterback again with the number 2 overall selection when C.J. Stroud is clearly a top 2 quarterback in this draft. Really confused about what the Texans are doing here. I really don't understand it. You need a quarterback. It's a glaring need. You have this rookie head coach. Put him in a position to succeed. Draft a quarterback. It really shouldn't be complicated. The Texans are overcomplicating things, which is not a surprise because they're the Texans. Number 3 here, the Cardinals might trade back, which is not a surprise, but they also might take an offensive lineman. Peter Skoronski from Northwestern has been linked to Arizona, so if the Cardinals do decide to trade back, they could be going with the Northwestern offensive tackle. And if Skoronski gets drafted by the Cardinals, he can be put on a Cardinals draft hat, and whatever team your player drafts, they're going to be putting on your favorite team's draft cap, so go and pick yours up right now. Get ready for draft day by getting your draft hats at chatsports.com/NFL draft hats. That's the link right there. Go and take advantage of this deal. Chatsports.com/NFL draft hats. That link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Get ready for draft day by repping your favorite team's draft hat. Let's talk about the Colts. They need a quarterback as well. And Todd McShay is saying that Will Levis to the Colts is, quote, very real. This is something that could happen at number 4 overall. Todd McShay saying that the Will Levis Colts buzz is very real, folks. Indianapolis seems to be extremely intrigued by the Kentucky QB. In fact, if Levis is off the board, I'm not sure what the Colts do from there. The only information I've heard on them this week is they're interested in Levis. So I was kind of thinking if Stroud falls number 4, they'll just take Stroud, but maybe they'll take Will Levis over Stroud, which would certainly set NFL Twitter ablaze. Would Levis be a good pick or a bad pick? Let me know. He's one of the more polarizing players here in this draft. Type G for good or type B for bad down in the comments. It depends where he goes. I mean, later on in the first round, middle of the first round, I think it's a good pick, good value. I wouldn't take him at number 2 or number 4, though. What about number 5? The Seahawks going to take a quarterback at number 5? Todd McShay is saying that Seattle is likely going to take a quarterback in round 1. They have number 5. They have number 20. Apparently, they're going to spend one of their 2 top 20 picks on a quarterback. Could be Anthony Richardson. And then the number 6 overall selection belongs to the Detroit Lions. And this was interesting and somewhat surprised me. Todd McShay is saying, don't count out C.J. Stroud to the Lions. At number 6, here's what he said. This is another franchise that perhaps surprisingly might be in the QB market, and I consider this Stroud's parachute slot if he drops out of the top 5. So when I hear that, it sounds like he's going to be the pick at 6 if he's there. He's a younger, less expensive version of Jared Goff with better physical traits, and if he's there, you bet the Lions would take a close look. Man, that'd be a lot of fun to see C.J. Stroud in Detroit, and Jared Goff's a good quarterback. He did a good job there, so it's going to be a tough call for this Lions franchise. What to do at number 6 if C.J. Stroud is, in fact, there. Should the Lions draft C.J. Stroud if he's available? Type Y for yes or type in for no down in the comment section. Go down and chime in. Now, the Raiders have also been linked to taking a quarterback. However, apparently they're not going to, and they're leaning taking a cornerback at number 7 overall. Perhaps Devin Witherspoon going to be the pick there for Las Vegas. The Bears, they, of course, traded back from number 1 to number 9. McShay is saying that they could trade back again, acquire more picks, and I also would not be surprised if that were to happen. Now, we've heard a lot about Bijan Robinson to Philadelphia, specifically at number 10. But McShay's saying that's unlikely, them using that first-round pick on Robinson. It could be their second first-round pick that Robinson goes to Philadelphia. I don't know if he's going to fall that far, though. He's the best running back in this class by a mile. I don't really think there's any debate there. Over 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns this year at Texas for Bijan Robinson. The number 11 overall selection, meanwhile, that belongs to the Tennessee Titans. They have been actively trying to trade up in this draft. Maybe they'll be in the conversation to trade up with the Houston Texans or the Arizona Cardinals and get a top 3 pick, which would obviously be spent on a quarterback, maybe C.J. Stroud. Let's talk about Jahmyr Gibbs. Most people would say he's the second best running back in this class. I don't know if I would say that, but his stock has risen significantly. There is a lot of buzz about Jahmyr Gibbs going in the first round, and I remember seeing most mocks having him kind of mid to late second, like last week, and now there's a significant amount of buzz that he is going to be a first-round pick. Here's what he did this past season at Bama. He's dynamic in the passing game as well, play action. You saw that at Alabama, 444 receiving yards in addition to 926 rushing yards. Where will Jahmyr Gibbs get drafted? Type 1 for first round or type 2 for second round down in the comment section. Hendon Hooker is going to be a top 20 pick. That is what Todd McShay is saying. Kind of the same thing. A couple weeks ago, we were hearing that Hooker was going to be a second-round pick, and he's kind of locked in the second round. He could go as high as number 11 or number 12. Again, the Titans have the 11th overall pick. The Texans have number 12. So Hendon Hooker, in all likelihood, is going to be a top 20 pick. McShay's saying he doesn't see him falling past Seattle at number 20 overall. The ACL is a concern, but apparently that recovery is going really well for the Tennessee product. Steve Avila, his stock is also rising. The TCU offensive lineman, someone else who in most mock drafts was kind of mid to late second round, he could be a first-round pick. His versatility boding well for him in this draft process was phenomenal for the Horned Frogs this past season. We're going to continue to have you covered on all NFL news and rumors, so be sure to subscribe. And again, subscribe to join us for our draft coverage this week.